Hello, and welcome to the first edition of SU Coaches Corner. I'm your host, Rachael Cataldo, and today I'm lucky enough to be joined by the head coach of our women's volleyball team here at Susquehanna, Coach Kuuipo Tom. Coach Tom, thank you for taking the time to come on with me today.
Well, thanks for the invitation, Rachel.
Of course. So I want to start out with what may be considered a loaded question right now, and that is, how has COVID-19 impacted the volleyball season specifically?
Well, obviously not having a competition season is a big impact on us. We prepared quite a bit over the years, especially our seniors. Right? They worked really hard to get to this point. And then with COVID pulling the carpet out from underneath us with the competition season, that's a big impact. I would say obviously that's going to be the biggest impact that we have.
And is there a possibility of a spring season right now, or is that all still kind of up in the air?
It's up in the air. The conference coaches have been talking quite a bit about it. We've been talking with the conference itself, and it's going to be up to the presidents in the conference. We'd certainly like to do it, and I think that if there's any way to make that happen, the presidents in the conference itself would surely want to make that happen too.
How has the team stayed in shape while also having the quality team bonding aspect that's so important throughout the pandemic?
Well, Rachel, traditionally, our team has had a very good culture that was set over the years, that volleyball season doesn't just happen during volleyball season. So I think that you're going to find that our student athletes year-round stay in shape, stay in condition, and really focus on their volleyball skills throughout. So I think we were ready to go, regardless of what was going to happen, whether there was going to be a competition season or not. So they came in, as they do, in pretty good condition, pretty good volleyball shape. And then once they got here, we put together our lifting schedule, and we start getting in the gym and working on the skills.
Awesome. And then just for our viewers out there, if you do want to watch the Riverhawks practicing, they've actually been practicing on Facebook Live at least once a week. So I would highly recommend that you, of course, tune into that. There are athletic things still happening on campus, which is awesome. But kind of switching gears a little bit, Coach Tom, let's get to know a little bit more about you. So you've been the head coach of the Susquehanna volleyball team since 2003.
Correct.
Is there a specific memory that stands out to you as one of your favorites?
Well, I think there's one that goes without saying, and we continue to beat it, but you know, the win over Juniata last season was a really big thing, because nobody's really done that in about 100 years. But that was competitively, that was a big one. But I think there were so many, and there are so many that I can just reflect back on. That are huge. Every year it's something new. Every year there's always a great memory. And some of those happen in practice. Oftentimes we have so many good memories that happen in practice, more so than the ones that are memorable from competition. I think people forget that there are quite a few days that go on between competitions. A lot of memories happen in there, and some of my favorites are there.
Yeah, definitely. And that actually leads me into my next question. So what is your favorite part about being a coach?
You know, that's one of those things that's hard to put your finger on a favorite part. I think one of the things that I really enjoy the most is a good number of these young people come in, and they're just wide-eyed young people. And I get to spend 4 years with them, watching them develop into young adults, and knowing that a lot of those folks are going to go out and do something great in the world and become positive contributors to society. So the biggest things for me is when I see someone go and do that. There are a good number of alum that I follow all the time and keep track of what they're doing in the world after volleyball. And I get a certain amount of gratification knowing that their experiences with the volleyball program has helped create the person that they've become. It doesn't define who they are, but it certainly helps them in becoming that person. And I think that's one of my probably the most gratifying thing for me.
I love that, yeah. And another question, if you had to coach any sport, couldn't be volleyball, but any other sport, what sport do you think you would coach?
Football.
And why is that? Are you just a big fan of football?
It's a family sport. Everybody in my family played it. I enjoy it. If you take one of those personality tests or whatever, it's always popping up that I should be in something where I'm trying to think strategically, and I think football's one of those things that really it whets my palate. I just like the idea of trying to come up strategically with taking the other guy's territory
Yeah.
and seeing how successful you can be at that. And it's been in my blood longer than I can remember.
One saying we have here at Susquehanna is that our faculty and staff like to wear many different hats on campus. They don't just do one thing. So you are obviously the head coach of the volleyball team, but you're also one of the program directors for one of our most popular Go Short programs within our Global Opportunities program, which is the Go Short trip to Hawaii. Can you explain a little bit your connection to the island and why you enjoy taking students there every year for their cross-cultural experience?
Sure. That's where my roots are buried deep. From my father's side of my family, we are from Hawaii. Culturally, that's how we identify. That's how my children are raised, and that's how we were raised. And when the opportunity came to put together a program, when Susquehanna started the Go programs, I thought to myself, what better place to put a program together than where my roots are? And I thought it would be a great opportunity for us for the students to be able to experience something with someone who actually is from that culture. And it's also fortunate because we've got plenty of connections that help us to get the students to places where, if you're going to go as a tourist or whatever, you're probably not going to get. You're going there because Hawaii's beautiful, and Hawaii's all those things that you see on the TV commercials and the travel ads. But I like to take them behind the scenes and work with the Hawaiian people and learn the actual Hawaiian culture. And they don't get me wrong, they get to do fun things, but the fun things they get to do are not out of the lens of a tourist.
Well, thank you for that, Coach Tom, and thank you for everything you do here at Susquehanna for the students. I know I personally appreciate it, and I know many others do as well. Unfortunately, that is all of the time we have here today on this edition of SU Coach's Corner. I'm your host, Rachael Cataldo, joined once again by the one and only Coach Kuuipo Tom of the volleyball team. Thank you for watching.